All right. Hello, everybody. This is Jill Renee Feeler, and welcome to this little intro. I have somebody I want you to meet today. Her name is Deirdre Catlin, and I've known Deirdre. Deirdre, how long have we known each other?
Ooh, 4 or 5 years now, I think.
Yeah, and multiple trips together. I know you did not go on the France trip, right? But you did. We did Egypt together. We did Greece
Yes.
together, and so much fun. And you guys, when I see Deirdre as Deirdre, whether it's with other participants or just people that we meet on the trip and how she interacts with them and her healing gifts and her way. I know she was helping me with some claustrophobia issues when I didn't want to go in the Great Pyramid. I still didn't go in the Great Pyramid, but I don't blame Deirdre. I could see her in action. And then earlier a few months ago in late 2019, it started to occur to me that there were so many people that I've met through my work that have like insane talents and abilities and giftedness that I actually invited a handful of them to share their services as another one of the menu items for the services and sessions that I offer. So this is an intro to Deirdre so that you can get a better sense of who she is and what she is about and why I wanted to invite her on to kind of a network of services that you guys can book through my site. I obviously highly recommend everybody that I've invited on, which is why I've invited them on. But Deirdre, what do you want to share with anyone that would be like, okay, well, Deirdre, what do you do? And what can you help me with? How would you it's so hard to describe what we do. So it's probably a rude question to ask, but how would you try and explain what you do?
Well, it is a really great question. And I know I'm supposed to have condensed it by now into a 5-second elevator speech or whatever. But really what I'm doing is helping people let go of the past and teach simple techniques that you can use daily to deal with stress and getting people comfortable to be in your bodies and connected back to who you are. It's bringing back that true essence of who you are to your daily life so that you can see and open up to the choices available to you rather than get caught back into the programs and the habits that we have that kind of keep us from, that create the stress, that create the things, that create the man, this is not fun anymore. And so I think the best analogy I look at is when you have experiences in life. I was listening to someone talk about how when they were 11, their father passed away. And they were sure that they had a good life prior to that, but that was the cap that they envisioned their childhood with. And that kind of becomes who we define ourselves as, right? With these major life experiences that range the whole gamut. And so for me, as I see releasing the energetics or releasing the tie or whatever we didn't express in that moment by simply taking a 2 or 3 minute techniques of just, it's called Soul Link. By using those techniques, it takes off the umbrella so you can see all the good things in life. And so, it's really getting people back in touch. I think some of the latest people that have shown up in the 2 hours have asked for, deep peace, which was kind of cool because I'm like, wow, how can we do this in 2 hours? And bam, right at 2 hours, it's you leading the session and my intuition and just minimal talking about things. And we're just releasing them, letting them go, and then rediscovering who you are. And so, I mean, it's kind of like what you're doing. I see you coming at it from the end of, this is how I see you and you're amazing. But it's also coming at it from, I have always felt this about myself and I've never put words to it. And, this is what I want to do in life. One of the ladies came in and she knew she wanted to work with kiddos and helping kiddos and empower them. And she used the word justice. And when we went through and looked at it, she got to that place where she was like, oh, this is why I've never agreed with the word justice. It's not the right word. Like, I feel what I do with the children and how. So she took it up to this level where, it kind of maybe the idea around justice, because it wasn't quite the right energy of the word or the meaning, she gets to have a more free, more open, more expansive way of incorporating what she really truly wants to do. And so it's fun to see that and see that in people. And I know you have fun, like, this is who you are and this is amazing and just do it now, you know. And I've sat there and I'm like, man, I am amazing. This is awesome. Why am I not doing it now? And so sometimes it's these things that we just create stories around who we are.
Exactly.
And let's rewrite that story. Let's write it from that place of knowing who we are.
Thank you so much. I feel like you did a great job explaining it, actually. And I agree that there's a lot of complementary, we are very complementary in what I do and what you do. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to let my audience know about you and see you directly as an option in terms of services. Because it could be that they've had a session with me and they're still kind of running into some sort of block or obstacle in there. And I see that you have, I mean, I always talk about this. I have gifts and abilities. You have gifts and abilities. And with yours, I feel like it hones in even more soulfully on whether it's child issues or abandonment issues. I mean, it's so many things in terms that we can, like you said, just stories that cap us. I like that word, to our best potential and what we really think we want in life. And there's just something there. And the way that I intuit what you do is you're like an amazing alchemist in terms of what you see, what's there in a new way. And I feel like if you're letting them kind of guide it, almost like the best therapists do, right? Or psychiatrists do. It's like letting them lead, and then what they end up saying ends up being, you know, where these magical pockets of gold are to literally alchemize. It's so exciting. And when you shared with me, I think especially on the grief trip, I was able to, you know, we had more time on the bus and it was a smaller group. So it was so fun to hear the outcomes and the success stories of the people that you work with and how quickly you get results. So, I mean, I was just like, oh my God, we got to get Deirdre in here. So you guys, for those of you listening or watching, I'm really excited for, and I do encourage any of you to try it out. I mean, it's trying out a session with somebody new that you haven't worked with before, to me, is not a huge risk. And I wouldn't be recommending Deirdre if I didn't feel like she had something amazing to offer you. So I'm super excited that you're part of it. And then can you tell a little bit about your story? I just think your story is just so like, oh, it's so cool. And you know which part I'm just like, oh my God, because you're such a successful person in so many ways in life. And I know you're so humble and you downplay it, but every time I hear you talk about, well, you know, when I was an Air Force pilot, I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, it's so cool because I was feeling that, one of my latest clients is a doctor. Mm-hmm. And so she's very successful, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of like, I guess like you're saying about me. And then when we intuitively go back to something that happened as a very, very young kid, she's like, this can't be what this is. And it's like, but you are reacting to it. So, and it's coming from you. Mm-hmm. And so as she let that down, even with that, she became a very successful doctor and a very, like, an amazing person. Mm-hmm. And now she wants to take it all to another level. And so she wants to synthesize what she feels inside with her knowledge. And so that's probably a great example of like maybe who I am, because I knew since I was a little kiddo, I always wanted to be a pilot. And I think from 7th grade, I came home and told my dad I'm going to be a pilot. And the look on his face wasn't saying no, but it just was like, where's this coming from? And so here I am. I went to the Air Force Academy, and then went to pilot training, and I was a pilot for 18 years. I spent 9 years in the Guard and active duty. So I got to see a couple different systems and how people grow from there. And I hope someday we get to talk about leadership, maybe in this kind of forum, because I love talking to you about leadership. Like, you know, is it innate or is it, you know, can you teach it? Like, but I just learned a lot of great things, met some amazing people. And I think that's really true to who I am. I was thinking yesterday about how many people I've met over the course of all I do. And with the military, you move a lot, right? Like you have these high intense situations, whether it's deployment or a short school or whatever. And you don't talk to them for years, but you can pick up right when they left off. And I'm just blessed to know so many amazing people who have these great stories. And I think that's what excites me about life is how can we start to see each other for these amazing experiences and stories within our day-to-day lives, and really take our life experiences up a notch, and get to experience that fun and creativity every single day. It's not as a goal anymore someplace out there, but how can we do it every day? And so are there specific things you want to know about being a pilot? Like, it is fun strapping a little airplane, going out and going upside down in clouds. And there, I think when people talk about getting excited about things, that's my standard, is
so cool.
whipping around clouds and like using your skill with Mother Nature, and like, because there are rules that you can't go in clouds and stuff, but you can chase and play, and you know, to going and helping rescuing somebody to get flying into Wagram and then taking them home to Germany because they need life rescuing medical attention. So yeah, I guess I've really had a cool previous life.
It's so cool. I guess one question I'd have is, given that you did that for so long and that was your dream, how do you feel about how this is like a different dream or an extension of the dream? Or how do you feel like what you're doing now is like, and this is even cooler? I mean, because I can't even imagine, because I didn't have childhood dreams like that. So that's so cool that you like had it as, I mean, then that you remember it as a little girl, and then you did it, and then now you're doing something totally different. So how do you, what's your story about that?
What's my story right now about that? So I think part of me is, you know, I can recognize having that dream kept me focused as a kid. So I didn't stray too far left or, you know, off the beaten path because I had a goal, and I could probably have a tendency to disrupt that or do things that didn't help. The other thing is I have a blueprint of having a dream and making it come true, but also enjoying life all the way up to having that dream come true.
Wow.
And so I see it in this part where I have, and we've talked about it a couple times too, of this major dream of how to create change and positive change and positively influence the world and everybody's lives. But I'm at that 7-year-old stage kind of right now of transitioning, synthesizing, you know, the really, well, they're not different worlds, but just a different way of thinking with the more intuitive, I think I do a good job with people of helping synthesize, you know, the kind of technical, medical, like proven scientific stuff with the feeling, intuitive, you know, maybe the creative side that we kind of put off. And so I get to balance the logic and the creative, and I'm sure that's why one of the reasons I enjoy you too, because you do a really good job of both. And,
thank you.
And so I love opening that up to people. So I kind of see that beginning as a blueprint of, okay, patience and seeing this, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be bigger than I imagine. It's going to be cooler than I imagine. And when people show up and I get to work with them, like, I just don't have preconceived notions because I know they're bigger than I can even perceive at that moment. But when I get to sit with them and hear what they're saying, and you know, sometimes I feel a little inappropriate because I can feel their inner self like kind of excited that they're right at the precipice of breaking through, right? And I've had someone look at me funny because I'm excited. I can feel that excitement, but I am not mirroring sadness and whatever they were in. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Here's where I'm at. You're almost there. You can do it. Like,
I love it. I've never seen you inappropriate, by the way. But I get it. When you're that intuitive and you're seeing energetically where somebody is probably about to get to, and you're already having the reaction of what's around the corner for them. I think that's what you mean by inappropriate. Yeah. It's like they're still in the sadness. They're not to the breakthrough yet, but you're like, oh my God, you're so close. And you know that from experience. But one of the other things I wanted to point out, because I think this is true of both of us, is that we have, maybe because of our backgrounds, or is it who we are that led us to have the backgrounds that we have? Me in corporate as an MBA, and you as a lieutenant colonel, and you know, an Air Force pilot, and all those things, which is just like, it's not everybody can say that, right? But so we have that part of who and what we are and what made us successful in that world, and then we also have this I want to say, ability to believe what's beyond the five human senses and what's beyond the tangible and touchy. It's in the touchy feely zone of the metaphysical.
Right.
We have both of those operating systems. That what I was trying to get to is that I think it allows both of us to have clientele that are very much professionals and highly regarded and leaders in the mainstream world. And then we're also very relatable, and we interact very comfortably in the metaphysical world with psychics and intuitives and astrologers and healers and all this awesome language that they use. It's so comfortable, and that allows us to be relatable to so many different people. And I love that diversity in our work. Yes, do you feel that way too?
I mean, I love exactly what you're saying. Like, I've just been to first responders conferences, and so you're talking about policemen, firemen, veterans. Like, I actually believe they're more intuitive. Like, there's an intuition and a gut feelings and things you have to react to for your safety that you just can't teach and explain, right? And so part of me sees, like, whoa, like, there's something really important here if we tap more into it, and that kind of was, yeah. And so in order to really do their job, there's a gut feeling, there's an intuition that I think they have. And so when we can find that balance and connect to our feelings, I think we've tried to learn to disconnect from that, which is keeping a huge part of who we are at bay. And when we can bring that together, synthesize it, I think that's when we can do that self-resilience, healing, handle this daily situations way better. And that's regardless of career field, right? Like, yes. I have a love for the people who are working two jobs and are, stressed from that, and then taking care of family, and then all these things. And I think how can we increase our resiliency to bring out the best parts of us, which then I think just opens the world.
Beautiful. Oh, so well said. Yeah. And I do want to have another conversation at another time. I like your invitation earlier about talking about leadership, because that's one of my passion points. And, is it nature? Is it nurture? I would love to have that conversation with you. So let's find a time on the calendar for that too.
Absolutely. Because I'm sitting there because I had to learn some things, and none of that just resonated. So I'm like, what is the bigger thing? And I think I was asking you on Greece, like, wait a minute, how did you learn leadership? You did not go to take classes. And
no.
So
that's really interesting.
And I've sat and taken notes watching you on these trips, how you coordinate with people, and it's just, it's amazing.
That's so sweet. I'm so flattered. Taking notes about me, just being Jill. That's a huge compliment. So,
well, just to round out my edges, right? Of like how I can step forward and be more of what's being asked of me. So
that's so cool. Deirdre, so I know you offer the sessions, and that's what people can find from you on my website, but can you also give a synopsis of the other thing? Because I know you do workshops and where you live, and what other, how else are you offering yourself and these gifts to the world?
So part of what's opened up for me that I know I shut down at 8, it was a decision I made, is music. And so right now it's in the form of crystal bowls, sound alchemy that helps with the body and relaxing and kind of that self-healing. So I do workshops, again, giving people just really simple tools to find that peace throughout their day, and then sound meditations. And then I do a 2-day workshop, which is basically the 2-hour event, but it's doing your whole life. And I call it's like a control-alt-delete, like it's a reset. You get right back to those feelings and emotions and the truth of who you are, and really find out at a deeper level that purpose. And giving you the tools to maintain that, or methods that I've used, and simple energy techniques of maintaining that throughout my day, so that anytime I start to feel stress, let me just handle this rather than make a story and project things onto people. It's really connecting your mind, body, spirit, and then I synthesize all of that. And then I was telling you today, I just finally pushed the button and created a CD for sound healing. So hopefully that will be out in 2 weeks.
I love it. I'm so congratulations. I hope you feel like, hey, I actually did it. Because I think I heard you say when we were just chit-chatting before we started recording, that was a project in the works for how long?
It's been in my, like, I knew to start recording it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I finally just, okay. I've had so many, I've kind of shared different things with people that I've had people ask me, like, where is this? How can I get more? So, okay.
Congratulations.
So I did it out in nature, which is amazing because one night the cows are mooing in the background.
Oh, I love cows.
Okay, well, that's going to benefit someone somehow.
So beautiful. Oh, Deirdre.
And then the other side is music and writing. Like, those are things I never would have taken that leap into. And
it's very cool.
So if you have people telling you that you're, like, I had a friend right when I showed up at the Guard in 2006, and I don't even think he knew me much. Like, it was just a year, right? And he sat down and was like, you are bigger than this space. You're bigger than this. You have more to do. And I loved him for that, but I couldn't figure it out, right? Like, I'm just a pilot. And so you have people telling you these things, like, yeah, this is a great place to explore, because I'm offering follow-on sessions on people to explore deeper who they are and what they want to bring forward.
God, I love it.
And it's just all in their language. And they're like, one of my clients, I was writing 4 pages of information for them. Now I record it.
I love it.
Way easier, but it was just wisdom from within themselves.
Right.
So, yeah.
Deirdre. Oh my God. I love you so much. I don't know how to say this, but other than just that, I'm impressed with you in so many ways. Every time we get together, I'm like, God, Deirdre, there's just so much to be impressed by with you. And I love your humility that every time I give you a compliment, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? And then you change the subject. It's just, you're a beautiful person on the inside and out. And I'm absolutely honored it makes me want to cry. I'm so honored to know you and be friends with you. And I'm excited for people to check you out and book a session with you. You guys, I really recommend that you try Deirdre and a session with her. It's just, we're always in this line of work challenged, and maybe even we struggle with trying to describe. And those of you that have had sessions with me, right? It's hard to describe what we do. That's very true with Deirdre too. But I highly recommend her, and I'm so excited. When she and I and the other handful that you'll meet in the other intros get together, you'll hear what I want you to know is that the reason that I wanted to do this is that I know so many people that have amazing gifts and abilities to offer this world, and I want to make it easier for you to find them. So I picked a handful, and here we are, and Deirdre's one of them. And thanks for watching and listening today. Thank you. Thank you, Deirdre.
Thank you. And I appreciate being on this platform with all these amazing people and you. It's truly an honor for you to consider me. And man, I am truly blessed to know you. So thank you for taking this chance and including me on your platform. It's a huge honor for me.
I'm so glad that you said yes. All right.
And all the other women too. They're amazing.
Yes, we have an amazing group. Yeah, I love it. Oh, Deirdre, thank you so much.
Thank you.